Have you ever noticed how the simplest questions often carry the most profound power to change our lives? Today, we're exploring 4 questions that could completely transform your perception of what's possible in your life. 4 questions that have the potential to move mountains, break chains, and breathe life into dreams you might have thought were long dead. Imagine standing at the edge of everything you've ever wanted. All your goals, your aspirations, your deepest desires. What separates you from that reality? Is it really lack of resources, connections, or time? Or could it be something else entirely, something within your control? What if I told you that the difference between where you are and where you want to be might come down to how you answer 4 deceptively simple questions? Why? Why not? Why not you? And why not now? These aren't just casual inquiries. These questions form the architecture of achievement, the foundation of fulfillment, and the catalyst for courage when facing life's greatest challenges. They've been the silent force behind every great leap of human progress, every personal breakthrough, and every moment when someone decided that impossible was simply not acceptable. Today we're going to spiral deeper into each of these questions, not just understanding them intellectually, but feeling their resonance in our lives, seeing how they've shaped the journeys of others, and discovering how they can become powerful tools in your own pursuit of meaning and purpose. So let me ask you, when was the last time you really questioned the boundaries you've accepted? When did you last challenge the voice that tells you, this is as good as it gets? Because by the end of our time together, you'll have a new relationship with what's possible. And more importantly, you'll have a practical framework for turning possibility into reality. Are you ready to explore these 4 questions that could change everything? Let's begin with the most fundamental question of all. Why? Why? Such a short word, just 3 letters. Yet within this tiny question lives the most powerful force for human motivation ever discovered. Your why is the beating heart of everything meaningful you'll ever do. It's the anchor that holds you steady when storms rage. It's the fire that keeps you moving forward when the path grows dark and uncertain. As Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." This profound truth has been demonstrated throughout human history, from Viktor Frankl surviving the Holocaust by finding meaning in suffering, to everyday heroes who overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles because something matters deeply to them. But here's where many of us get stuck. We focus on what we want to achieve or how we'll get there, without first clarifying why it matters to us in the first place. Think about it. Have you ever pursued a goal because you thought you should? Perhaps a career path that looked impressive but left you feeling empty? Or a lifestyle that others envied but didn't actually bring you joy? Without a compelling why, even achieving these goals leaves us wondering, is this all there is? Let me share a story that illustrates this perfectly. James was a highly successful executive who had checked all the boxes of conventional success: the corner office, the luxury car, the impressive home. By all external measures, he had made it. Yet he found himself sitting in my office, confessing that he felt more lost than ever. "I did everything I was supposed to do," he said, "but I have no idea why I'm doing any of it anymore." James had mastered the what and the how, but he had lost touch with his why. Over several months of deep reflection, he reconnected with his childhood passion for teaching and mentoring. Today, he runs a thriving business that trains underprivileged youth in entrepreneurship, and the transformation in his energy and fulfillment is remarkable. Your why is uniquely yours. It's formed at the intersection of your talents, your passions, your values, and the needs you see in the world around you. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning with a sense of purpose rather than obligation. So let me ask you to pause right now. Close your eyes for a moment if you can, and ask yourself, why do I want what I say I want? What is the deeper meaning behind my goals? Who do I become in pursuit of these things? When you connect with your authentic why, something magical happens. The path forward becomes clearer. Decisions that once seemed complicated suddenly become obvious. The resistance you feel toward taking action begins to dissolve. Research from positive psychology confirms this. Studies show that people who connect their daily actions to a meaningful purpose show greater resilience, experience less stress, and report higher levels of life satisfaction, even when facing significant challenges. Consider this exercise. Take out a piece of paper and write down a goal you're currently pursuing. Now ask yourself, why is this important to me? Write down your answer. Then look at that answer and ask why again. Continue this process 5 times, going deeper with each response. By the 5th why, you'll often uncover motivations and values you weren't consciously aware were driving you. One participant in a workshop I led discovered through this exercise that her desire for a promotion wasn't actually about the title or money, as she initially thought. By the 5th why, she realized it was about proving to herself that the prejudice she'd faced throughout her career couldn't define her potential. This insight completely transformed her approach to her career development. Your why simplifies everything. When you know why you're doing something, when you can feel its importance coursing through you, obstacles become challenges to overcome rather than reasons to quit. Your why turns "I have to" into "I get to." As Simon Sinek wisely observed, working hard for something we don't care about is called stress. Working hard for something we love is called passion. So before we move to our next question, I invite you to sit with this one. Why? Why does what you're pursuing matter to you? Why is it worth your precious time and energy? Why would reaching the finish line of this particular race bring you fulfillment? Answer this question truthfully, and you've already set in motion a profound transformation. Because once you know your why, the next question becomes almost inevitable. Why not? These 2 simple words contain a universe of possibility. When we ask, why not, we're challenging the boundaries of what we believe is available to us, in terms of what we can learn, what we can earn, what we can become, and the impact we can have on others. Why not is the question that has preceded every great human advancement. Why not fly? Why not cure this disease? Why not connect the entire world through technology? Why not create art that moves people to tears? Why not build a life on your own terms? Too often, we live within invisible prisons of our own making. We accept limitations that exist only in our minds, limitations born from past experiences, cultural conditioning, or the well-meaning but restrictive advice of others. We say things like, "That's just not how things are done," or "People like me don't get opportunities like that." But what if we're wrong? What if the boundaries we perceive are simply stories we've been told, or worse, stories we've told ourselves? Dr. Carol Dweck's groundbreaking research on mindset demonstrates this powerfully. She found that people generally operate from either a fixed mindset, believing their qualities are carved in stone, or a growth mindset, believing their basic qualities can be cultivated through effort and learning. Those with a growth mindset ask, why not? They see challenges as opportunities to grow rather than threats to their identity. They understand that abilities can be developed, that failure is not a permanent condition but a temporary setback, and that the path to mastery is paved with continuous learning. Let me tell you about Marisa, a single mother who worked as an administrative assistant for 15 years. She had always dreamed of working in healthcare, but believed that ship had sailed. "I'm too old to start over," she would say, "and besides, I don't have the time or money for medical school." But one day, a colleague challenged her thinking with a simple, "Why not?" They helped her see that while becoming a doctor might indeed be impractical given her circumstances, there were many other paths into healthcare that would align with her compassionate nature and desire to help others. Today, 3 years later, Marisa is a certified respiratory therapist who loves her work and earns significantly more than she did before. The journey wasn't easy. She studied nights and weekends while continuing to work and raise her daughter, but she now lives a life she once thought impossible, all because someone dared to ask, why not? This question invites us to examine the assumptions that limit us. For example, many of us have deeply held beliefs about money, what it means to have it, who deserves it, how hard it must be to acquire it. These beliefs often operate below our conscious awareness, yet they powerfully shape our financial reality. Try this reflective exercise. Complete the sentence. Money is 10 different ways, writing down whatever comes to mind without filtering. Then review your responses. You might be surprised by the limiting beliefs that emerge. Beliefs like money is scarce, money corrupts, or money only comes through struggle. Now imagine challenging each limiting belief with, why not? Why not believe that money can flow abundantly? Why not see money as a tool for positive impact? Why not discover pathways to prosperity that feel aligned and joyful? Why not expands our sense of what's possible, not just for ourselves, but for others. It leads us to ask, why not create businesses that serve both profit and purpose? Why not build communities where everyone thrives? Why not develop technologies that solve our greatest challenges? The question, why not, also invites us to examine the fears that hold us back. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. As Elizabeth Gilbert writes in Big Magic, fear is a natural companion on any creative journey, but it doesn't get to make the decisions. When we ask why not, we're not claiming fearlessness. We're simply refusing to let fear have the final word. This brings us to a powerful practice, the fear inventory. Take a sheet of paper and draw a line down the middle. On the left side, list everything you fear might happen if you pursue your dream. On the right side, for each fear, write what you might learn, how you might grow, or what opportunity might emerge even if that fear came true. This exercise reveals an essential truth. Even our worst-case scenarios often contain hidden gifts, lessons in resilience, redirections to better paths, or strength we never knew we possessed. Why not? Is the question that transforms barriers into doorways. It's an invitation to see beyond conventional wisdom, beyond comfortable limitations, beyond the status quo. It challenges us to dream bigger and reach further. And when we truly embrace why not in our lives, we inevitably come face to face with our next question, why not you? This question strikes at the heart of how we see ourselves and our place in the world. It challenges the voice of self-doubt that whispers, who am I to want this? Who am I to dream so big? Who am I to think I could succeed where others have struggled? Why not you? Is a direct confrontation with what psychologists call the imposter syndrome, that persistent feeling that you're not as competent as others perceive you to be, that your achievements are due to luck rather than ability, and that you'll eventually be exposed as a fraud. But consider this. If not you, then who? Who is more qualified to pursue your unique vision? Who else has your particular combination of experiences, perspectives, talents, and passions? Who else can contribute to the world in precisely the way that only you can? As Marianne Williamson famously wrote, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. Think about the people you admire most, the innovators, leaders, artists, and change-makers who've shaped our world. They weren't superhuman. They faced doubts, setbacks, and failures just like anyone else. What set them apart was their willingness to answer, why not me, with a resounding, yes, me. Take Oprah Winfrey, who rose from poverty and abuse to become one of the most influential media executives in history, or Howard Schultz, who grew up in public housing and went on to build Starbucks into a global brand, or J.K. Rowling, who was a struggling single mother on welfare when she began writing the Harry Potter series. These individuals didn't possess special powers or extraordinary advantages. What they did have was the courage to claim their place, to back themselves when no one else would, to believe that they had something valuable to contribute. You have that same capacity within you. Let me share a perspective-shifting exercise that's helped many people I've worked with. It's called The Letter from Your Future Self. Imagine yourself 10 years from now having achieved the dreams you currently hold. From that vantage point, write a letter back to your present self. What would your future self want you to know? What obstacles did you overcome? What risks were worth taking? What doubts were not worth entertaining? This exercise works because it helps bypass the critical mind and tap into your deeper wisdom. It reminds you that you are more than your current circumstances or limitations. Another powerful practice is to create what I call a victory log, a dedicated journal where you record all your wins, big and small. Each evening, write down 3 things you accomplished or handled well that day. Over time, this creates tangible evidence of your capabilities and progress, which becomes invaluable when self-doubt creeps in. The question, "Why not you?" also invites us to examine where we might be giving away our power through comparison. Theodore Roosevelt was right when he said, "Comparison is the thief of joy. It's also the thief of possibility." When we constantly measure ourselves against others, especially in this age of carefully curated social media personas, we're setting ourselves up for perpetual inadequacy. We compare our behind-the-scenes reality to others' highlight reels. Instead of asking, "Why aren't I where they are?" try asking, "Why not me exactly as I am with my unique journey and timeline?" Remember, your path doesn't need to look like anyone else's to be valid or valuable. Your version of success doesn't need external validation to be worth pursuing. This isn't about blind optimism or denying real challenges. It's about recognizing that you, with all your flaws and limitations, still have the capacity to create meaningful change in your life and in the world around you. You have the intelligence to learn what you need to learn. You have the resilience to overcome setbacks. You have the creativity to find solutions. You have the courage to take action in the face of uncertainty. These aren't just motivational platitudes, they're biological and psychological facts. Human beings are naturally equipped with remarkable capacities for growth, adaptation, and transformation. So when the voice of doubt asks, "Who am I to dream this dream?" answer back with confidence, "Who am I not to?" Because once you fully embrace that you are indeed worthy and capable of creating the life you desire, you'll find yourself facing the most urgent question of all. Why not now? This final question confronts us with the precious, irreplaceable nature of time. It challenges the great human tendency toward procrastination, our habit of postponing meaningful action until some mythical, perfect moment arrives. I'll start when the kids are older. I'll pursue my passion after I get the promotion. I'll write that book when I have more time. I'll prioritize my health once this busy season passes. But here's the uncomfortable truth. There is no perfect moment waiting around the corner. There is only now, this day, this hour, this minute. And how we use our nows ultimately determines the quality and meaning of our lives. As the Zen proverb states, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Consider the story of Alex, a brilliant writer who talked about the novel he would someday write for over a decade. He had the concept, the characters, even detailed outlines, everything except actual pages. Why? Because he was waiting for the right time when life would magically clear the decks and present him with months of uninterrupted creative flow. Year after year, that perfect moment never came. What finally transformed Alex's situation wasn't finding more time. It was changing his relationship with the time he already had. He committed to writing just 300 words each morning before work. Some days it was a struggle, some days the words flowed easily, but he showed up consistently. 15 months later, he completed his first draft. Not because he found the perfect circumstances, but because he decided that now, imperfect as it was all he really had. This pattern repeats across all domains of life. People wait for the perfect financial situation before investing, the perfect fitness level before trying a new activity, the perfect emotional state before having an important conversation. But what if perfection is the enemy of progress? What if good enough to start is actually perfect? Research in behavioral psychology reveals something fascinating about human motivation. We often think we need to feel motivated in order to act, but the reverse is actually more powerful. Action creates motivation. When we take even a small step forward, our brain registers progress and releases dopamine, which fuels our desire to continue. This insight leads to a powerful strategy: the 5-minute rule. When facing resistance towards something important, commit to just 5 minutes of focused action. Often, you'll find that once you start, continuation becomes easier than stopping. Another technique for embracing now is what productivity expert David Allen calls the next physical action. When a goal feels overwhelming, Don't focus on the entire journey. Simply ask, what is the very next physical action I could take? Make it concrete and achievable. A phone call, an email, a 10-minute research session, writing a single paragraph. By reducing massive aspirations to tiny immediate actions, we bypass the overwhelm that keeps us stuck in perpetual preparation. The urgency of now becomes even clearer when we consider the mathematics of time. If you're 30 years old, you have about 2,500 weekends left in your life, assuming average life expectancy. If you're 50, that number drops to about 1,500. These aren't meant to be depressing statistics, but rather clarifying ones. They remind us that time is both limited and uncertain, and therefore incredibly precious. As the philosopher Seneca wrote nearly 2,000 years ago, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Why not now? Is the question that transforms dreams from distant possibilities into present realities. It shifts us from planning to doing, from someday to today, from intention to action. And here's perhaps the most compelling reason to embrace the power of now momentum. When you begin moving toward your goals, even with imperfect steps, you create energy that makes subsequent actions easier. You build confidence through evidence of your own capability. You start attracting resources, opportunities, and allies that weren't available to you in your state of preparation. As one of my mentors often says, the universe rewards action, not contemplation. So let me ask you directly, what dream have you been deferring? What goal have you been researching, planning, and preparing for without actually beginning? What conversation have you been rehearsing but not having? What change have you been contemplating but not implementing? And most importantly, why not start now, not next Monday, not January 1st, not when circumstances align perfectly, now, today, in this moment? Because when you combine the clarity of your why, the expansiveness of why not, the self-authorization of why not you, and the immediacy of why not now, you create an unstoppable force for positive change in your life. We've spiraled deeply through 4 transformative questions. Why? Why not? Why not you? And why not now? Each builds upon the others, creating a powerful framework for turning dreams into reality. Your why provides the emotional fuel for your journey. Why not expands your sense of what's possible. Why not you empowers you to claim your rightful place, and why not now compels you to begin without delay. These questions aren't just philosophical musings. They're practical tools you can apply immediately to any aspect of your life that matters to you. So here's my challenge. Choose one area where you've been holding back. Perhaps a creative project, a career transition, a health transformation, or a relationship that needs attention. Then move through these 4 questions deliberately, journaling your thoughts on each. 1. Why does this matter to me? Connect with purpose. 2. Why not explore bigger possibilities here? Expand your vision. 3. Why not me as the one to make this happen? Claim your authority. 4. Why not take one concrete step today? Embrace immediate action. Commit to a 30-day practice of asking these questions daily. Each morning, review your answers and identify one small action you can take before the day ends. Document your journey, the insights, the challenges, the breakthroughs. Remember that transformation isn't always comfortable. You'll encounter resistance, both internal and external. Old habits and beliefs will fight to maintain the status quo. But with each step you take, you build the muscle of possibility, the strength of self-trust, and the momentum of progress. I believe in what's possible for you. I believe in your capacity to create meaningful change. And most importantly, I believe that the questions we've explored today can help you bridge the gap between where you are and where you long to be. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. If you found value in these insights, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear which of these 4 questions resonated most deeply with you and what action you're committing to take today. Remember, your why matters. The possibilities are vast. You are capable. And now is your time. Let's breathe life into those dreams together.